Nneka is my name, and welcome to this episode. Welcome to the first episode of African Women Nuclear Voices. Geraldine Nneka Okoye is my name, and I will be your host. This is brought to you as a collaboration from the Nuclear Aware Africa and a Woman in Nuclear podcast. On this very first episode, we have with us Madam Rose. On this episode, we have with us Mrs. Zainab Mukhtar Bello. Mrs. Zainab Mukhtar Bello is a certified nuclear security specialist. Mrs. Zainab Mukhtar Bello is a certified nuclear security specialized professional in nuclear security governance. She's the Chief Scientific Officer at the Energy Commission of Nigeria. Also joined with us today is a nuclear strategic analyst, Madam Roselyn Ejebuno. She is a fellow of the Institute of Leadership and Governance, and she has an MSc in Peace Conflicts from the Nasarawa State University, Kefi, Nigeria. Welcome, Madam Rose and Madam Zainab, to this very first episode. It's a pleasure to have you as our pioneer guest.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank
you for the invite.
Thank you. So today we are going to discuss on the role of African women in the nuclear industry. Recently, we have seen advances and relative growth in the adoption of nuclear science and technology within the African continent. We believe so much that with this growth and advancement, a whole lot of development will be experienced in this decade and in the coming decade as a result of the positive impact of nuclear science and technology. But most important, women, the gender, female gender, has remained sidelined in the field of science and technology, and the nuclear industry is not an exception. However, we believe that the role of women cannot be overestimated. So today we would want to discuss, including the challenges, we would want to know the progress so far, the current landscape, and how much more impact the active participation of women in this industry can bring to the growth. So we'll start with Madam Zainab. What do you think of the current landscape of women in the nuclear industry in Africa? Currently, how do you think women participation is? How much of it do we have at present?
Well, the involvement of women in African nuclear sector is growing, but they remain still underrepresented, especially in technical and leadership roles. These are increased, though there are increasing effort to address this imbalance through initiatives by international organizations, government, and local institutions. However, progress varies significantly across different countries, with some regions making more strides than others. But still in Nigeria, we have young girls coming up through these mentoring programs. So I think we are starting somewhere. We've already started and we'll soon catch up. Thank you.
So Madam Roselyn, from your angle, considering your position, how do you view the current landscape of women in the nuclear industry?
Yes, thank you. Like Madam Zainab have rightly pointed out, is actually growing. We know usually we don't usually have this female participation because lots of things coming up, maybe like the challenges and everything, and the role of women in homes. So I think when we look at the ratio, it should be 2-10 or 3-10. But I think we are gradually moving up because you can see a lot of women coming in now into the industry because they are beginning to see, because of the awareness being created here and there. People are already seeing and now saying that it's not all about, nuclear is not all about the bombing, but there is also the peaceful aspects of nuclear. which is what we're advocating and which is what is ongoing presently. So to me, I think, fair enough, gender mainstreaming is being considered and is upcoming and is still favorable.
So are there particular roles you think women will play best in the nuclear industry? Or is it just a case of let's add more women, not because there are roles they will do best, but because they are just humans, let's include them? Are there specific roles you think women would champion better in the nuclear industry?
Very well. Very well. There are lots of leadership roles or roles generally that women can perform. That let's look at the leadership and governance. Women in leadership position can influence policy making, promote culture of safety within organization, and their participation in decision-making process can lead to more comprehensive safety regulation. That is women. Then in part of education and training also, women can contribute to educating and training the workforce on nuclear safety protocol, ensuring that diverse range of perspective is included in training program. We also have the research and the innovations. Women in science and engineering field can drive research and development of new technology that enhances nuclear safety and security. And we have lots of them, like community engagements. You know what women are because of the feminine, what is it called, qualities in them. Women often serve as key communicators within their communities, helping to raise awareness. So nuclear will not be an exception. So about nuclear safety, they can create awareness in their community, empowering others to advocate for safety measure. Then international collaboration. I know there are lots that can be achieved in collaborating internationally. We talked about Africa. Now we can start from there. Talked about maybe the counterparts that the women have. They can talk to them, and in a mentorship, women can inspire the next generation of female scientists and engineers, encouraging more participation, and also advocating for more people, that is advocating for favorable policies that can carry women along. I think we have so many vast areas in which women can participate. Thank you.
That's absolutely correct. Madam Zainab, I know you want to add even more to the list.
No, I would just add, maybe I'll come from the policy aspect.
Okay.
When we have many women creating policies that will support gender equality, such as equal pay, career advancement opportunities, and work-life balance, this will encourage more women to take on leadership roles. Additionally, by highlighting successful female leaders in the industry can inspire others to pursue similar paths. So that is all I need to add because she has said almost everything.
Very well. She really stressed every point, and everything she said is just as it is. So now we know that women are very important in the industry, but still we do not have enough women. So what extra step needs to be taken to bring in these women, to encourage more young people to come in to the industry? Madam Zainab.
Okay, I think the most pressing challenge includes this gender bias, the limited access to professional development opportunities, and lack of representation in these leadership positions. Often, women face barriers in entering the industry, such as cultural stereotypes and insufficient mentorship or networking opportunities. If you look at all these challenges, it can lead to a lack of confidence and hinders career progression for the woman in nuclear. So by creating a more equitable and inclusive nuclear sector in Africa, by collaborating with governments, institutions, and private sector, We can implement all these policies, and then we can be able to help these women, these young girls, let them know the importance of nuclear, and then they'll be able to participate in this. By inspiring our young girls to pursue careers in nuclear science, engineering, but then they must know that nuclear is open to everyone. You must not always be in the sciences to participate in nuclear. Nuclear is for everyone. We can have all these outreach programs, school visit by female scientists, partnering with educational institutions can help break down stereotypes and show young girls that these fields are accessible and rewarding. We should have scholarship intensives specifically for girls, which can also provide encouragement. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Rose, are there additional suggestions you could bring so that we could have more people, more ladies?
Yes, we have lots of challenges, but I know that one, we need to really develop the workplace culture, because currently this is a serious challenge. A workplace environment usually and not really conducive or supportive of women, because you discover that women, the feeling of isolation and reduced job satisfaction for women is always a problem. So we need to create a work-life balance in all aspects of our life. Then we know that we have challenges in limited networking opportunities. Men can go extra mile in networking, but women, there are levels we get to, and they will tell you have are you sure it's not connected to this, especially maybe when you are married, or even the unmarried. So it's always a problem. Then like I said earlier, the balancing work and family. So it's always a problem too. Then we have this gender stereotype, persistent stereotype about gender roles on discourse. We have this tradition that when you go to some of our agencies now in nuclear sectors, where you find women most admin departments, you go to maybe the human resource, that is where you find women. But the technical aspects, before you see women there, I think is like 1 or 2 to 10, if not 2 to 20. So it's a challenge. So we seriously need to look into some of this, and access to education and training. In the first place, a man that is working in an industry can pick up any opportunity of scholarship or anything, anywhere, anytime. Then once you are married, you start calculating, who do I leave these children for? I can't go to Russia, I can't go to this, I can't go to even Vienna. There are some meetings that you want to go, you need to check yourself and say, will I be able to meet up? All of that. And even when you are ready to, they are not ready to give you that opportunity, because they felt when you get there, you will always look for opportunity to come back to your family. So it's always the problem. So there should be a balance. They should look for a way in balancing some of the things that, especially in our policy, we'll always refer to policy, because there's nothing we can do outside the policy, because whatever you're doing now is all about policy, policy, policy. What is the policy saying? What is the framework? What are the regulations? So those are the things that will really shaping the ideas and the movement of women in their career as a nuclear security, either scientists or whatever. Thank you.
Very well, very well. The truth is, yeah, we really do have a whole lot of challenges that
Yes.
is hanging on our neck, and it's becoming a burden for us when you want to move within the industry. When you want to grow, you always have to deal with these biases. And that brings us to the issue of challenges that women always face in the industry. We keep talking about bringing in more people, but those of us who are in there, we need to find a solution to the problems we have. Madam Roselyn has listed out a whole lot of this problem, but we also need to find solutions to them before we bring in more people, so that we don't keep circulating issues across generations. So, Madam Zainab, what do you think we need to do to create a more inclusive, a more equitable, a more conducive workplace for women within the nuclear industry?
I think depends on the person. Personally, with passion, determination, you can work there. Let me give you an example. I'm a scientific officer in the nuclear field in Energy Commission of Nigeria. We face challenges. Let me give you an example. If you are going for anything like field work, they will tell you are a woman, you can't go. You are not the person saying you cannot go, but somebody is speaking on your behalf saying you cannot, or he's pitying you. I always say, why will you pity me? So we need to speak up. We need to speak up. Anything going out for the field work, they will exclude us. But I don't keep quiet. I always talk about it. You have no rights, no excuse. You didn't ask for my permission. You cannot just tell me because you feel I'm a woman, I cannot go to the field. That is wrong. I'm a scientific officer. I know what it entails. I went through university. I went through field work. So I do not let any man decide for me whether I can go to the field, whether I know, because I feel that is harassment. You feel I'm on the weaker path, so I cannot go to the field. But that is wrong. We have to stand. We have to let them know we are in this field. We know what it entails, and we're ready to do it. So no man should try to stop me from going out to the field to work, because I know what it entails and I'm ready for it. I have the passion, I'm ready to work for it. So all opportunities should be given to me. The same opportunity that is being given to my male counterpart should also be given to me. If I cannot do it, then I back out and say I will not do it. But do not let any man decide for you whether you are able to go to the field or not. That is one example that I can give. Thank you.
Okay, so that boils down to we who come into the industry should be confident enough in our abilities. So it's not
Exactly.
just being a woman and complaining that men are not allowing you to breathe. Do you have what it takes to breathe in the industry? If you have what it takes to breathe, then insist and breathe. I think that summarizes it. So it also requires competency on our part. We need to be competent enough to stand our ground. Just like you said, you have what it takes to go to the field. So nobody should tell you not to go to the field. It becomes a problem when you do not have what it takes to go to the field. But seeing you are able, nobody should dim your light or should stop you from exercising your full capacity to work within the industry. So it's what other steps can you suggest, Madam Rose, to take to ensure that this industry is fair to women?
Thank you, Geraldine. I think some of the solution that I will suggest is one, women need to begin from the grassroots. Talking about STEM now, we need to start putting our women, our girls, our ladies into, let them begin their career mentoring from the grassroots. When you know what you want, when you know what you need, taking Mrs. Zainab, for example, she has passion for nuclear. She likes nuclear. She chooses nuclear. And that is why nuclear is everything she talks about. And the same reason why they could not stop her. Anytime they said, no, please wait, you can't go, she would say, no. I went to school, I did all of this, and being a woman is not the problem. And I think we also, the women, we are also part of this solution. We should commend ourselves. Women should celebrate themselves. The problem is when you are even in an organization, you discover, especially in the nuclear sector, if you have women, if you have your partner who is a woman and who is also moving on, who is moving on well, you should be able to celebrate such. Commend them on things they've done. It's not always that it has to be me. It is this aspect of me that is taking us far from achieving our goals as women. If we can come together, celebrate ourselves, then the men we know that, yes, we are out for something. We celebrate our achievements and all of that, then we'll be able to go very far. Then also encouraging innovation and diverse perspectives. We need to encourage innovations and everything. Then another thing that we need to do is training and developing ourselves. If they ask, sometimes we hide our faces behind them, behind the men especially. When they are saying, just the example that Zainab gave, if they are saying, don't go because you're a woman, she will be happy. She will just say, oh, guy, you know, I'm a woman. Okay, thank you, I'm a woman. Because they are doing. But because she knows that she has what it takes and she has everything, she will tell them, no, I cannot be here. I went to school. I know what I can give. So let me go with you. So we need to really know what we are doing. It's not the days of half-baked bread. If you want to bake the bread, bake it well. Let it be grounded in what you're doing. Pick something and be grounded in it. You have picked nuclear security, then let nuclear security be part of you, so that at any time, any day, when you are called, you should be able to say something about what it is. Then the women around you will also be proud of you. And in being proud of you, they want to be like you. They want to wear your shoe. They want to continue where you are. Thank you.
Very well. That's a whole lot, and it's interesting. Very well. I'm glad to have you both on this very pioneer episode, and it's been a whole lot. We also want to finally, we are Nigerians, and this nuclear awakening is happening all over the continent. So what role does international collaboration within the scope of the continent, African women now coming together, what do we need to do together as African women to make sure that the adoption of nuclear science and technology is sped up? Like, there is no delay. We put out delay, we put in effort to make sure that that across the continent, various countries are accepting and are really putting to use nuclear science and technology in a positive way. So what role do we as African women have to play?
A whole
Sorry?
lot of, okay.
Okay, no,
Zainab,
go
you
ahead.
can,
No, go
after
ahead.
you.
Yeah. No, after you, huh? You can go ahead.
So you're talking about African women.
Yes.
Usually, you know, when we meet in at the international level, everybody comes with their problems, provide solutions, and all of that. And we discover that we are all having diverse problems. But at the end of the day, when you dilute them, they come back to the same thing. So, and I know that all we can do is more collaboration, more and more collaboration. We should collaborate in area of awareness creating. When we talked about all country, Nigeria, Africans, they can spend billions of money buying equipment, gadgets, and so many things. But when it comes to awareness, people don't want to invest in it. And that is a whole lot. Because before you can even buy the gadget we're talking about, there should be round peg in the round hole. So when you do that, you'll be able to achieve and you get to the desired goals. So it is time for us to sit as one, as a continent, sit as one, see ourselves as one, advocate as one, tell people what we can do, what we can achieve, unity. There's nothing we can do outside unification. You just have to unite. When you unite and you have a single voice, then you can, nothing can be your limit. In fact, you can go extra mile. Let these, these are Nigeria, South Africa, and South Africa. I want to be the best. Yes, it is good, because even in our individual lives, it's self-interest first, because it is me before any other person. But we can make use of the positive aspects of it, coming together, collaborating together, networking together, and having a single voice as women. And I think we can go extra.
Very well. So,
thank you.
Madam Zainab, let's hear from you.
Just like Madam Rose stated, we need to have this unity within the African continent. For example, if we are going out for any training, they will send documents for us to fill in, slots for African women to participate. But surprisingly, when you go out, you will meet only 2 to 3 African women, countries represented by Africans, maybe only 3 women. The rest will be all men dominated. But what I feel is, if we can collaborate among us, the African women, for example, whenever I see an opening, if there's a connection within us, networking, I'll personally forward it to the next person, because it might not be me. If I cannot go, then another person should go instead of another man given that chance. I think if we can still collaborate, network, love one another, I think we can work in Africa. For example, when I traveled for another course, I would just be the only African lady there. I'll be surprised, and then you see like 6 to 7 men from Africa. What is happening? So I think if we love ourselves, we can collaborate, we link together, I think we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you both on this episode, on this very, very first episode of Nuclear Voices from African Women. It's a pleasure to have you guys, and thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much for sharing with us your perspective on the role of African women in the nuclear awakening in the African continent. So we will get back to you when we are done with the editing. So we would also we would like you to share your LinkedIn ID with Ruth, so that she can tag you people whenever the uploading is done. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye.